house guests, welcome to today's Big Brother Canada updates and spoilers. Our house guest of the day is Kay Hoylett or Hoylett. I'm sorry, I'm an idiot. But thank you so much for supporting us on Patreon. And they want to know, do I think it's wise for house guests who are in good standing to kind of not win competitions until it's really necessary for them? You bring up a good question. I think it's really great to stay under the radar, and I think it's smart for people to not win competitions until it's really necessary. But I think the problem with that is, how do you really know if you're in good standing? I mean, it's easy for us to see things like that from the outside. We can see all these different angles. I know. But I think it's really difficult when you're actually in the house, because I feel like, well, that brings me to the second question. Would I ever throw a competition if I was a house guest? I think it's really difficult to really know where you stand with everyone else in the house. So I would almost feel like I'd have to win every competition. I don't know. I think once you start feeling really comfortable, that could be when you're in trouble. So I hope it's not a cop-out, but I really don't know if I would throw a competition. Maybe. All right. So thank you for your questions. Okay, so let's get talking about what's going on in the house. So Ramsey and Jared were having a game chat yesterday, and I gotta say, Ramsey has really been waking up lately. I feel like he's one of those people that was really laying low the first few weeks. He wasn't even really talking to people about the game, and now he's getting a little more involved. So it's interesting to see what he's gonna do. So, of course, Jared states the obvious. It's a really tough week for me because, like, my two best friends are up on the block. So then he starts complaining about Levita's influence over Joel. And this is something that a lot of people have been bringing up. A lot of people have been talking about it. They are like, oh, Joel is so different now. He's like a different person. That could also be because he's the HOH. But anyway, Jared is angry that he can't even confront Joel about this because he always gets all defensive and upset, and he doesn't like it. So then Jared's asking Ramsey, like, what do you think about Levita? And we know that Ramsey's kind of working with Levita. But he's like, yeah, it's really changed my opinion of her. Has it, though? I don't know. It's tough to say. So then they're talking about who they would target next week if they were HOH. And Jared is like, well, gotta go after Dallas. He said in front of many people that he's coming after me, so it's kind of a no-brainer there. And Ramsey's like, well, I think I would target some of the middle people, maybe Cassandra. He never really knows where she stands. I think that's kind of interesting that Ramsey would go after the middle people. It's kind of like taking out your own, but, well, Ramsey's kind of on a side, I guess. Ramsey's with Dallas and Maddie, so that didn't make sense. But anyway, he would go after the middle people. He doesn't want to be throwing stones at Jared's group. And he definitely wouldn't say it to his face. So Nikki and Tim had a chat in the bathroom, and they are so over talking about game. They're not used to this. This is not how their franchises play the game. So they're sick of it. They're over it. They're calling everybody else energy thieves. They're just exhausted. Plus, I think Tim has a cold, so he's not really his usual bleh self. But Nikki is also getting really annoyed with Phil because he's all, I love Nikki, and she only wants to be friends with him, and she feels like he just doesn't get it, and to Phil, it's either showmance or nothing, so she's just like, ugh. So then we get a little insight into what a Tim HOH would be like, and I gotta say, I'm intrigued. So he says that his nominations would be determined by a house-wide boardroom. So basically, anything you have to say to me about the game, you will say in front of everyone else. So other than that situation, he doesn't want any other game talk with him that week. He wants a break from it. I don't know if that would happen because I feel like it would be really hard to stop people from talking game to him. But he says if they did try to talk game, he'd be like, get out. But I think it would be really interesting if he actually did it that way and was able to stick to that. And he would want to do nominations kind of like the Australian way. He would want everyone to vote on who would be nominated. So it's kind of cool. I don't know. It'd be a little different. So then Kelsey and Jared were chatting, and Jared lays it all out there. He's like, honestly, it would be better for me strategically probably if you went home. But he says he doesn't know what he's going to do yet. He's got to see what everybody else is thinking. So Kelsey's just like, that's got to be great to hear, right? So Raul joins them, and Kelsey's like, you know, I don't want to go home, but I'll be okay if I do. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, because you don't give a crap about the show. Like, some of these people have been trying to play this game for, like, forever, and she's just like, I'm here to party. I hate that. But anyway, Kelsey is telling them, like, look, if I leave, I want you guys to work with the brothers. Doesn't Jared, like, hate the brothers? I don't know. It would be interesting to see, though, what Jared's relationship with Phil would be like if Kelsey was not there, because you know he's very jealous of Kelsey flirting with Phil. So if she was out of the equation, I wonder how they would get along. I'm curious. All right. So Tim was up in the HOH bath again. He just loves that. And he was giving Raul some campaign advice. He's telling him, you need to be vulnerable with people. You need to remind everyone how much fun you are, because this isn't just a game. Like, you want to be in this house with people you actually enjoy spending time with. So make sure you tell people that. Oh my God, your nails are so loud. He also tells Raul, strategically, you want to emphasize Jared and Kelsey are in a showmance. They're always going to vote together. They're always going to be a vote for each other if one of them is up on the block. But Raul, not as tight with Jared. There's a chance that people could sway his vote. So he tells him you need to, you know, really push that. And it's interesting that Tim would give Raul such good advice, because we've heard that Tim wants to get rid of Raul this week. So I don't know what that's all about. I think he just likes to stir things up. So the votes are very much up in the air at this point. I feel like it is pretty much a dead split in the middle of the house. So we have a couple conversations here I just want to kind of blow through. So Maddie tells Dallas she wants Kelsey to go. She feels like they have at least 5 votes locked down with the 2 of them, Ramsey, Levita, and Mitch. Sean, shh. So she feels good about that, and Dallas is just like, you really think we should do that? Okay. So Cassandra was talking to Joel. She says that she would prefer for Raul to go. We know that's not what Joel wants. And then Mitch was talking to Levita, and he's like, it's better for us as a group to evict Kelsey, because he feels like Raul is going to be way less likely to come after them for revenge than Kelsey would. I think that's probably true. All right. So Kelsey and Raul were discussing what they're going to do moving forward, because one of them is going to have to leave by the end of the week. They got to, you know, make some moves here. So obviously they don't want to campaign against each other. They don't want it to get ugly. So then they're trying to figure out some alternatives. So they're like, should we approach people together and just like ask people how they're going to vote? Should they just leave it up to fate? They're not really sure. They didn't really come to a conclusion on that, so neither am I. All right, so Phil and Mitch had an interesting game chat in the high roller room. Mitch brings up some concerns with Phil. He's like, yeah, I feel like Maddie's coming after me, and I know that Maddie and Nick are very close. They're always in that bed together, and I just feel like this is Phil's worst nightmare. This is what he's always yelling at Nick about. So it's really adding fuel to the fire here. So I feel like this is going to make Phil really lose it on Nick now. I'm a little scared for Nick. But anyway, Phil kind of smooths things over with Mitch. He's like, you know what, I can't stand Maddie, and Nick has told me that he doesn't really like her as a person either. He says they never talk game, and Nick likes Mitch. It's not like that, so he's basically like, Maddie sucks, and we've heard him say that before, so it's not really that surprising. But anyway, Kelsey finally asked Dallas about the power of veto. She's just like, just tell me what's going on here. Are you going to use it? And Dallas is like, no, I'm not going to use it. It's just not a good situation for me to use it. I can't do it, so you should just start campaigning. He didn't say it like in a mean way, like, you should start campaigning and pack your bags, biatch. It was just like, you should start campaigning. So I find it really annoying that they didn't even try to come up with any plan or any pitch for Dallas to use the power of veto. They were just like, are you going to use it? They could have at least tried. I feel like Dallas is somebody that could be swayed. You never know if it was some really nice-ass deal. So it's a little disappointing that they didn't try. But anyway, Joel, Mitch, and Levita were chatting up in the HOH room. And Joel is like, just in case Dallas does use the power of veto, I want to be prepared. So he's like, Tim is a pawn? And they're like, Tim is a pawn. They like this for a few reasons. They feel like this will really separate Tim's group and the trio. They feel like they've been hanging out more lately, so this would really split them, especially if they have to campaign against each other. And they also feel like it would be more clear-cut to have Tim versus Kelsey as opposed to like Raul versus Kelsey. So they want Kelsey to go. That's what that is. All right. So speaking of Kelsey, Jared was talking about Kelsey with Tim and Cassandra in the Have Not Chapel. And he's like, it's really pissing me off again, seeing her flirting with other guys. Not cool. So he's realizing she's really a distraction for him in this game, and it'd probably be best for him if she was evicted. He doesn't want to look like a fool on TV. He doesn't want to be fawning over this girl and ruining his game over this girl when she's flirting with everybody. So he brings up the flirting thing again with Kelsey, and it's like the same conversation that they've had a bunch of times. She's not going to change who she is. They're not together, blah, 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 blah. She's just a flirty person. And she's like, game-wise, if we want to make it further in this game, we're going to have to work with the brothers because they trust us. They want to work with us. We can't turn them away. All right, I don't think that's the answer that Jared was looking for, but that's the one he got. So this morning, Dallas and Jared were chatting, and Dallas is like all over the place. Dallas is like, maybe we could call a truce and go after the brothers. And Jared's like, yeah, that's great and all. I'm into that idea, but you called me out so publicly and said you were coming after me. Like, how can I not go after you? So Dallas is like, well, if we keep going after each other, we're just giving the brothers a free pass. They're going to be sitting back and laughing at us. And he's also concerned that the brothers are going to be able to play individually at some point. So they're both like, you know what? This is an interesting prospect. Let's talk about this more in the future. Okay, so they had the power veto ceremony this morning, and Dallas did not use it. Did we really think he was going to use it? So that means that Kelsey or Raul will be leaving on Thursday. Moving on. This afternoon, Dallas called out Phil for playing both sides. So Phil denies it. He's like, no, I'm just making like personal human connections with everyone. It's not all game talk with everyone. So Dallas is like, well, I know you're spreading crap around because I've told you things before and they've come back to me. And Phil's just like, what? That's BS, blah, blah, blah. So Dallas brings up again his theory that the brothers are going to get to play as individuals, and Phil's like, no, that's not happening. And then he's like, Dallas, even if I won HOH next week, I'm not coming after you. So Dallas is like, well, I'm not coming after you either. I've got bigger fish to fry. So why are you causing all this drama? What are you doing? So yeah, that happened. And then Phil is getting all upset because Nikki said that she thought the brothers got like this secret power when they were in solitary the first night. So Phil and Nick confront her about that. They're like, why are you doing that? That's really messing us up. And Nikki's like, it was a comment made in passing. She doesn't give a shit about this game. She said that. She doesn't care. She didn't mean anything by it. So Tim kind of diffuses the situation. He's like, everybody chill. So Nikki does end up apologizing. She's like, I didn't mean to mess you guys up. Like, I keep forgetting that people are taking this game seriously. Whoa. Yeah, so I know. So we're going to talk about, you know, the aftermath of that more tomorrow. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Who's going to be the big target next week? I think there are a couple people who could be in trouble. So let me know. And until then, much love.
Edit.